Also, we got to remember, when we talk about love, what are we really talking about? I mean, you hear this all the time, right? If a loving God would treat us a certain way. Really? But what's your definition of love? The culture has redefined what love is. So when we use this word, most time in the culture, people mean something kind of different. They mean one of these things, right? But if you're a parent in this room, raise your hand. Okay, parents, is this the only kind of love we show our kids? No. Why do you say that so quickly? Because you know that if you're a parent, you've experienced and had to express tough love. What is that? That's sometimes doing the tough stuff with your kids because you know it's not, they're not going to like this, but it's in their best interest. It's for their own good. There's a writer named C.S. Lewis. I'm going to use a lot of his work in the next few slides. I want you to see it, though. He's brilliant. I've quoted him a lot in my books, and people will sometimes write to me and quote back, I love this line from your book. And it's always a C.S. Lewis line. I'm like, really? The best quotes in my book are not mine. They're a guy who's been dead for a long time. But yes, it's true. Here's what C.S. Lewis says about this. He says that we want, in fact, not so much a father in heaven as a grandfather in heaven. A senile benevolence who, as they say, liked to see young people enjoying themselves, and whose plan for the universe was simply that it might be truly said at the end of each day, a good time was had by all. Okay, that's what we want from God, but that's not what love is. By the way, that's what it looks like from grandparents, though, right? If you're a grandparent in this room, raise your hand. How many times do you do something with your grandkids that you know if you were a parent, you would never do that? Right. I can't wait to do that with my own kids, right? My own grandkids, because I'm thinking, you can't have that candy? Just don't tell your parents. There you go. So I think that this is something we have a tendency to mistake. We think that God, now remember, it is about parenting. Look, this timeline we talked about here, okay? This is your temporal life, and this is your eternal life out here. You might put it this way. This is your earthly bound life, and this is your post-earthly life. Now, we all have parents, and we know that parents, sometimes in our earthly life, will allow us to suffer some evil because they know they're aiming at something good downfield. So when my daughter wanted to take a year off of school, of college, living 8 hours from us, I said, you can do that, but it will be unsupported by me. You'll have no net. Because I can't give you the false idea that you could live this way without making a living on your own, and you just see what that's like. So she spent a year struggling as I watched her, and so many times wanted to step in and solve a problem because I knew I had to allow her this to get something good over here. Does that make sense? By the way, now suddenly she's back enrolled in school full time. There you go. But if this is of course what we do as earthly parents. Now, if there's an eternal parent, it seems to me he might take a similar approach. He might allow you to suffer some evil here, and you're thinking, well, yeah, but I never see anything good from it. If that's true, then where's my good thing coming? Well, it's not over here, you knucklehead. It might be over here. Doesn't that make sense? If there's an eternal parent who, and we got a proper definition of love, it's not about making you happy. He's not your eternal grandfather. He's your eternal father. And love always points to something lasting, not something immediate. God is far less concerned in your comfort than he is in your character.